Hello, my lovely rose garden. This is Avalon.
And Ray.
And we're back with another chapter of Throne of Glass, which I will admit to having skimmed ahead a little bit.
Scandalous.
And I think it's going to be a fucking boring chapter, so...
Well, I mean, you know, that's par for the course, isn't it?
Yeah, more boring than usual.
Oh, fun.
So we're going to just start right off with a little promo for something that won't be boring, will be painful and devastating. And that is... So recently, I had Ray access one of his USB drives so I could get some of my old files onto my new computer. And these files are old. Possibly older than some of you listening right now. It's a good 20 years of my writings that were pulled out. Not everything, unfortunately, or, fortunately for me. There was some stuff that didn't get transferred over that I had lost before I could get it onto the USB drive. But we're talking multiple laptops ago. We're talking...
Middle school.
Middle school, yeah. One of my writings from middle school, some things from high school, some things from early college, things that are at minimum 10 to 15 years old. So hopefully you're all older than that, but we're going up to about 20 years on some of it. So
yeah, the middle school stuff, that's 20 years, baby.
Yeah, so we are going to be launching Patreon exclusive content where we will be reading and reacting to my super old writing. I am not ready for this. I have no defenses. And that's why it's going to be Patreon exclusive. So for that one, I am putting up a paywall, and I am saying that if you want to shame me like that, you got to at least pay $2 a month to do it. So
if you want to hear me personally suffer over, just like, I'm saying this as if you want to hear me personally suffer over my old shame, you gotta pay me.
Yeah, Ray will not be suffering.
I won't be suffering.
Ray will be having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
But I will be dying actively. You will get to pay to listen to me die a little bit each day. So, yeah, by the time
hey, if you do want to see me suffer a little bit in return, we can always put up the very first drawings I've done of these characters.
That's true. These videos might include some of your old art. Some of my old art as well, and some old commissions that I got that still look fantastic in my opinion. I was very lucky to have some amazing artists that were willing to do art for my very dumb little story.
Hey, come on now. If we're including my old bad art, we shouldn't be dragging the people you commissioned like that.
No, I'm excited for that. Like I said, I still think that their commissions look fantastic despite being
but
also
having them in the same
old.
Video as my old bad art that gives off an impression.
Oh, don't worry. There were no commissions done of books that you did art for that are this old. Mm. I'm talking about like my middle school, the one before you even met me.
Oh yeah. Okay. The middle school stuff I get.
Yeah, I had some very
middle
amazing
school. You'll have
friends.
to suffer alone. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. And you'll be the arbiter of that suffering.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, oh, what a great time we're having.
All right, I think this promo has gone on long enough, but if all the other things we've said are on the Patreon have not enticed you because you're thinking, well, $2, fine, but it's going to be public eventually because it is stuff that I publish, stuff that I post on YouTube. This stuff will never be public on YouTube. It is exclusive only to Patreon. So if you want to see that, and it should be coming out around the time that this video is made public, check it out and watch me suffer, even more than usual.
Oh ho ho!
Now
what great fun!
Now for this dose of suffering, Winnie, baby girl,
get on with it.
No.
Yes, get on with it,
kitty. She's so cute. She's very confused because I put some boxes where she likes to sit. Because she got a new cat tree. She got a little princess castle. So, she's figuring it out. Okay. Sitting in a chair near the hearth of the great hall, Catherine watched Duke Perrington converse with Queen Georgina atop her dais.
Are we getting a Lady Catherine POV now?
We are.
Oh my god.
It will not be any less girl-hatey.
Oh no.
And I'm not saying that because I skimmed. I'm just guessing. But I'm, pretty certain of my guess.
Okay, we've been in too many characters' heads at this point.
Yeah, at this point I'm like, if Elisocles cannot carry this story on her own, then maybe you need to adjust the story.
Uh-huh.
And not just keep throwing in other... Does anyone give a shit about Lady Caltain's fucking POV? Do you care? Does anyone care? Like, I would at least if it was Dorian.
Like, she's such a one-dimensional non-character.
Yeah. And, like, Dorian's POV last chapter was kind of... Or, no, Selena's... It was Dorian's the chapter before last, and then we got a little snippet of Selena, and now we're in Lady Caltaine Catherine here. And I'm like, at least go back to Dorian. Or Kale.
Yeah.
I'd take Cole Boy.
Yeah.
His POV is just, this is dumb, this is dumb, this is dumb, this is dumb. What is she doing?
In this book where there's clearly, like, sort of a, love triangle set up, at most, the amount of POVs should just be main girl and the two guys.
Yeah, the characters that you're supposed to
Why are we here in Lady Catherine's head?
I don't know. It had been a shame that Dorian had left so quickly an hour ago. She hadn't even had the chance to speak to him, which was especially irksome given that she'd spent the better part of the morning dressing for court. Her raven-black hair was neatly coiled around her head, and her skin glowed golden from the subtle shimmering powder she'd dusted on her face. Though the bindings on her pink and yellow gown crushed her ribs...
Girl!
Corset hate? Alright.
Corset hate.
And the pearls and diamonds around her neck strangled her. She kept her chin high, poised. Dorian...
Girl, you can... You can fasten your necklace a little looser. It's fine. You're able to. You're allowed.
Dorian had left, but having Perrington show up was an unexpected surprise. The Duke rarely visited court. This had to be important. See, I feel like the only times we have ever seen Perrington thus far, he's been at court. So...
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust that information, because... Yeah. Also, I just don't give a shit about Perrington, but... Like, I know that they're trying to make an antagonist here, and I just don't care. Catherine rose from her chair by the fire as the Duke bowed to the Queen and strode toward the doors. As she stepped... Okay. Let me read this sentence again.
Uh-huh.
Catherine rose from her chair by the fire as the Duke bowed to the Queen and strode toward the doors. Who is striding toward the doors?
Perrington? Is my guess? My assumption, anyway?
Possibly, but the way the sentence reads, it's not especially clear. Because as the Duke bowed to the Queen could be a dependent clause.
Yeah. And there's so many verbs.
Yeah. So, just bad editing there. As she stepped into his path, he paused at the sight of her. See, there we go. We got some commas.
Yeah.
So we know who's doing what. His eyes gleaming with a hunger that made her want to cringe. Cringe, dude.
Do it.
Oh, wait, no. Sorry, I wasn't Gen Alpha enough. Cringe, bruh. He bowed low. Milady. Your Grace, she smiled, forcing all that repulsion down deep, deep, deep. I hope you're... So even she hates his ass. Like, damn. No maidens.
No maidens. Not a single one.
I hope you're well, he said, offering his arm to lead her out of the hall. She smiled again, taking it. Though he was somewhat rotund, hard muscle lay in the arm beneath her hand. Oh, we got fat-shaming. Take a drink. We got fat-shaming.
Yeehaw.
Very well, thank you. And yourself? I feel I haven't seen you in days and days. What a wonderful surprise to have you visit the court. Perrington gave her a yellow smile. I've missed you as well, m'lady. She tried not to wince as his hairy...
He's fat and his teeth are gross. He's obviously evil.
She tried not to wince as his hairy, meaty fingers rubbed her pristine skin, and instead delicately inclined her head toward him. I hope Her Majesty was in good health. Was your conversation a pleasant one? Yeah. You know, I'm gonna say it. If the only not conventionally attractive people in your story are evil, fuck you. Let the villains be hot too.
Villains should be allowed to be hot.
Also, because I just inherently distrust pretty people more. And I don't know what that says about me, but, you know, like, I know that just the way the book is going, Perrington, I'm sure, is some kind of villain because Cain is his champion.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, just let the man live.
I'm just over here, like...
Got yellow teeth, like... The fact that dental care in this time period, whatever it is, sucks ass is his fault. Like, damn, bitch.
I'm just over here like, there's way too much stuff going on for this book to be this boring.
Yeah.
Like,
also,
this plot is so bloated with side things going on. And... yet it still is such a slog to get through.
We're 140 pages in and we haven't gotten to Trial 2 yet. There's like a crazy death tournament supposed to be going on. When's that coming back? Also, I feel like this Perrington is a completely different character from Perrington as we have seen him before. Because I feel like Alysicles would have been calling him just every name under the book, under the sun. Under the book, what the fuck.
It's fine.
If he was, you know, if Sarah J. Maas had this vision of him in her head from the first time he appears, it would have been remarked upon.
It would have just been all like, fat.
It would have been like, he's fat and he has gross teeth and yellow teeth and hairy, meaty claws. And...
it would have just immediately...
Look how much he eats.
Fat.
Ignore how much I'm eating. Look how much he eats. Like, yeah. I feel like SJM didn't really have an idea of this character really solid until this chapter.
Well, and even then, it's... I'm just like, oh, this is already coming off like a chapter that was included after the fiction press publishing.
Or just right in the middle of it. Like, this is a filler chapter if I've ever seen one, and we're barely a page in, but, like, I'm kind of running off the theory that we are reading this as if we were binging a fiction press series, or like something on AO3 that has, you know, 55 chapters, and you're just like, sure, and just read it all at once, and you're not waiting the weeks between updates. Yeah. Except we kind of are, because we only record 1 or 2 chapters a week.
Yeah.
So even with that kind of gap between reading it, it's still just boring as fuck.
Well, and even then, honestly, if I was a fanfiction reader and, you know, I waited like 2 weeks for a new update, and then the next update was just fucking Lady Catherine and Duke Perrington being grossed out by Duke Perrington, I'm just over here like, well, that would just kind of let me down as a reader, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, man. This just reminds me, I feel so bad for people who see my videos on TikTok right now. Because we went to a used bookstore and Ray found a Throne of Glass card game.
Yeah, I was in the gaming section of it, and there was this Throne of Glass card game, and not only was it there, it was like a stack of 20 or so boxes of the same Throne of Glass card game.
And I did a video. I, recorded it, the front and the back, because the art, quite frankly, was gorgeous. I don't know where that art is when it comes to the official covers, but it is nice art. And I have seen also the coloring books for Throne of Glass and A Court of Thorns and Roses seem to have the same artist, and they're very nice. But, yeah, and I was, looking at the back of it, and I was like, I have no idea how you would play this game. It looks ridiculous. We also saw
spoilers on the back because it was for the last book.
Yeah, it's for Kingdom of Ash, which I think is the last one, and
we're just like, okay, well, no one's surprised.
Obviously, it is for fans. It's for the people who are obsessed with Throne of Glass and it's their favorite series, and they would actually be willing to play a card game of it. So I took a video and I put it up on TikTok, and of course YouTube Shorts as well. Everything gets cross-posted, but on TikTok, it is probably my most viewed video TikTok.
It's getting passed around to all the freaking SJM fans.
Yeah,
being all like, "Oh my gosh, I want to play this. Where did you find this?" and all this stuff.
And I'm just sitting here like, "Oh, don't look up the rest of my content. I don't want to hurt you." Because I don't have a problem with fans, really. I like cringy shit, too. It's fine. If they find something enjoyable in this series, that's really good for them, and I'm happy for them. But, my content is very much not for, fans who love these books. And I didn't expect that to happen, because typically a video of mine averages maybe 130 to 150 views. Some of my better ones get up to over 200, maybe 300 or 400 if they're really popping off. I wasn't expecting over 3,000 views on that video.
RIP.
Oh, I'm so sorry. SJM fans, I'm not one of you, and I don't understand. And I did not buy the game, so don't ask me to play it and film it, because I didn't buy it.
Nope, we just took a video of the 20 boxes.
I didn't even want to buy the book that I'm reading out of. If the library had another copy available, we would be reading a library copy. So, anyway, that's what's been going on.
Fun times.
Back to this. Oh, it was so dangerous to pry, especially when she was here on his good graces. Meeting him last spring had been a stroke of luck, and convincing him to invite her to court, mostly by implying what might await him once she was out of her father's household and without a chaperone, hadn't been that difficult. But she wasn't here to simply enjoy the pleasures of court. No, she was tired of being a minor lady, waiting to be married off to the highest bidder, tired of petty politics and easily manipulated fools. Her Majesty is quite well, actually, Perrington said, leading Catherine toward her rooms. Her stomach clenched a bit. Though he didn't hide that he wanted her, he hadn't pushed her into bed yet. But with a man like Perrington who always got what he wanted, she didn't have much time to find a way to avoid owning up to the subtle promise she'd made to him earlier that year. But, the Duke went on, with a son of marriageable age, she's busy. Catherine kept her face plain, calm, serene. Can we expect any news of an engagement in the near future? Another dangerous question. I certainly hope so, the Duke grumbled, his face darkening beneath his ruddy hair. The jagged scar along his cheek stood out starkly. He's got a fucking scar now? This is a new character. This is a completely... Because this has not been commented on, and maybe it's just my Swiss cheese brain memory, but this has not been commented on, right?
No.
None of his physical characteristics have stood out enough for Selena to remark upon them. And suddenly, we have him having one of the most unique character models in the game. He's got a scar. What the fuck? This isn't the same guy. This is not the same guy. I will stand by that. Her Majesty already has a list of girls deemed appropriate. The Duke halted, remembering whom he spoke to, and Kaltain batted her eyelashes at him. Oh, I'm quite sorry, she purred. I didn't mean to pry into the royal household's affairs. She patted his arm, her heart kicking into a full gallop. Dorian had been given a list of appropriate brides? Who was on it? And how could she... No, she'd think of that later. For now she had to find out who stood between her and the crown. It's nothing to apologize for, he said, his dark eyes shining. Come, tell me what you've been doing these past few days.
I just kind of love that Lady Catherine is here, like, fucking girl bossing. She's like, I will flirt with this old man for intel. I don't give a fuck.
You know, as much as I was shitting on the fact that these characters are wholly uninteresting and not who we're here to see, I'm kind of enjoying her character more than Alexis.
Yeah.
Because clearly she wants stuff. She is not above playing dirty to get it.
She has ambitions. She wants that throne. She wants that man. And honestly, I'm here for it.
Which, just... The fact that she is not putting herself up on a pedestal, as far as we've seen in her mind so far. She's like, yeah, fuck it. I want to be queen. And I'm gonna play dirty to get that. I don't care who gets in my way. I don't care about being a bitch to everybody. If that's what it takes to get what I want, then fuck it, I'm gonna be a bitch. Meanwhile, Selena Alexis is like, I'm so much better than all of these bitches. And it's like, no, you're not. You're a bitch too. Just own it. Just own it. Just be a bitch. But acknowledge it. I don't care if the main character is a bitch, as long as she doesn't pretend that she's so much better and morally superior to everyone else who's also a bitch. You know, no one goes into Mean Girls and is like, wow, Katie is so nice and pure and good the whole movie.
I'm just over here like, dang, it would have been such a cool subversion for, like, Alexis and Lady Catherine to meet. And, like, yeah, they don't like each other, but they kind of, you know, lock eyes and just kind of give the nod, like, yeah, you know, game represents game kind of thing.
It recognizes.
Yeah, it recognizes game. But yeah.
I just swallowed a piece of ice.
Ow.
I didn't want to. It wasn't pleasant.
Delightful.
I just needed everyone to know while I was having a little sip of my water. Something happened here.
See, this is why I don't do ice.
Oh, well, at least I didn't cough and gag and ruin the recording. Thanks. Not much of note, though I met a very interesting young woman, she said casually, leading him down a window-lined stairway into the glass section of the castle. A friend of Dorian's, the Lady Lillian, he called her. The Duke went positively rigid. You met her? Oh, yes, she's quite kind. The lie rolled off her tongue. Damn, shade.
She's like, yeah, I fucking hate this bitch.
Yeah, she's nice. She lied. Damn. When I spoke to her today, she mentioned how much the Crown Prince likes her. I hope for her sake she was on the Queen's list. While she'd wanted some information about Lillian, she hadn't expected this. The Lady Lillian? Of course she isn't. Oh, the poor thing. I suspect her heart will be broken. I know it's not my place to pry, she went on, the Duke growing redder and more furious by the moment. But I heard it not an hour ago from Dorian himself that... That what? A thrill went through her at his anger. Not anger at her, but at Lillian. At the weapon he'd just had the good fortune to stumble across. At the weapon she'd just had the good fortune to stumble across.
Dude, she's like playing it.
She's going. That he's very attached to her, possibly in love with her. That's absurd. It's true. She gave a morose shake of the head. How tragic. Foolish is what it is. The Duke stopped at the end of the hallway that led to Catherine's room. His anger loosened his tongue. Foolish and daft and impossible. Impossible? Someday I will explain why. A clock chimed off-kilter and Perrington turned in its direction. I have a council meeting. He leaned close enough to whisper in her ear, his breath hot and damp against her skin. "Perhaps I'll see you tonight?" He dragged a hand down her side before he walked away. She watched him go, and when he disappeared, she let out a shuddering sigh. But if he could get her close to Dorian... She had to find out who her competition was, but first she had to find a way to get Lillian's claws out of the prince. List or no list, she was a threat. And if the Duke hated her as much as it seemed, she might have powerful allies when the time came to make sure Lillian released her hold on Dorian. See, like, this is somewhat interesting. There's some court intrigue, some politics, some conniving and maneuvering of chess pieces.
Yeah.
But again, that's not what this book is advertised as.
Yeah.
If this was the book, if this is the vibe that we were told to expect going in,
yeah, if it was,
I would enjoy it.
If it was just like court politics and intrigue and, girls fucking Jane Austening one another, like
this is my webtoon recommendeds right here.
Yeah.
I do enjoy this kind of story. My problem, once again, being that...
is that we were promised a death tournament.
Yeah, I'm here for death tournament.
And shit.
I'm here for crazy stunts and, action and, Alyssa being a competent assassin.
Alyssa being the badass she's told us that she is, and has not shown in any way whether she's faking being mid or when she's not. It's like there's
I mean, I guess technically there have been scenes that showed off that she does have skill and proficiency, but they were so heavy-handed that it came off as the author just leaning in and being like, by the way, did you remember that she's a cool assassin who can totally fire this super difficult bow and get, an awesome score, and she's, barely even trying, and I'm just... It's baby's first overpowered OC.
Well, and even then, it's just like, oh, God, this doesn't align with, the things that she's supposedly supposed to be good at.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, she's supposed to be good with knives, and now she's good with a bow, and I'm just like, okay.
Entirely different muscle group, but
yeah.
Go off.
Entirely different set of skills in order to use those exceptionally well, but okay.
And, if she had been practicing with the bow and arrow earlier, okay. I will accept that people can have more than one skill. If she's good at throwing knives, that does not preclude her from also being good at archery.
Yeah.
The problem is that she had pretty much never mentioned being good at archery until she needed to be good at archery.
Just like she hadn't mentioned Sam until she needed a random, reason to never love again.
Yeah, they just come out of nowhere. There's no consistency or build-up in the character. Sorry, I'm trying to inject something of interest and educational value into this video.
It's not working very well.
I'm trying my best, okay? Well, it's almost over. We're away from Catherine and Perrington now. Their POV time is over.
Okay, then.
We're skipping over to someone else now.
Oh, wait, so, okay,
why wasn't this just wrapped up in the previous chapter? Who knows?
Okay, no, because, you remember how, last chapter was, 1.5 pages long?
Yeah.
And it was, I assumed, because it was a POV change.
Yeah.
So now we're changing POV mid-chapter?
Yep.
Why wasn't chapter 18 just part of chapter 17 then?
I don't know, but POV switch tilde.
I want to die.
Take me with you. Don't go where I can't follow.
Hell.
Dorian and Cole didn't say much as they walked to dinner in the Great Hall. Princess Nehemia... Boyfriends. Princess Nehemia was safely in her chamber, surrounded by her guards. It had been quickly agreed that while it was foolish of Alexis to spar with the princess, Cole's absence was inexcusable, even with the dead champion to investigate. Why is Cole in trouble for this? She's supposed to have guards and shit on her.
Yeah.
Where were they at? Yeah, how come they're not in trouble? You seem rather friendly with Sardothian, Cole said, his voice cold. Jealous, are we? Dorian teased. Boyfriends. I'm more concerned for your safety. She might be pretty and might impress you with her cleverness, but she's still an assassin, Dorian. You sound like my father. It's common sense. Stay away from her, champion or no. Don't give me orders. I'm only doing it for your safety. Why would she kill me? I think she likes being pampered. If she hasn't attempted to escape or kill anyone, then why would she do it now? Oh, you dumb bitch. It's called a false sense of security, and you live in it. He patted his friend on the shoulder. You worry too much. It's my occupation to worry. Then you'll have gray hair before you're 25, and Sardothian certainly will not fall in love with you. What nonsense are you talking? Well, if she does try to escape, which she won't, then she'll break your heart. You'd be forced to throw her in the dungeons, hunt her down, or kill her. Dorian, I don't like her. Okay. You ever... This... It sparked a thought, and it's very hard to articulate the thought. But you ever have, like, those people who are just trying so hard to force you into a box that you do not fit? Like, when you're trying to convince someone that you're dating a person of the same sex, and they're like, no, you're just really good friends. This is like the opposite of that, but same energy.
I see this as Sarah J. Maas, like, leaning in and being all like, Kale, you like Selena. You like her. And Kale's like, no. And she's like, yeah, you do.
It's a love triangle.
And he's just like, no, I'm in love with Dorian.
It's a magical love triangle, Cole. It's here to show us the way.
He's just like, no.
The way to mainstream success. Yeah, like, and this does not read to me as, oh, he's, protest. The man does protest too much. This reads to me as him being consistent in his interactions with her, where he has only mildly started to maybe like teasing her a little bit.
Okay, but...
And then she does something that pisses him off, and he's like, right, I fucking hate you.
And then I'm just over here like, if I were writing this book, this would become a running gag. Where everyone is just like, oh, he's so in love with her. And he's like, just like, no.
He's like, I'm gay.
That's what I would do. Where it just becomes so tired and played out. And he's just like, where did this come from?
See, if I was writing this would turn into a Midsummer Night's Dream situation where everyone believes that these four people are in a love square, but actually it's just Alexis and Nehemia and Dorian and Cole. But to keep suspicions off of them, they keep flirting with, like, other parts of the, like, the people are, like, forcing themselves to see a love triangle between Dorian, Alexis, and Cole, but then they, like, encourage that so that they don't realize that Dorian and Cole are getting together on the side.
Yeah.
And that would be much more fun for me.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sensing his friend's growing irritation, Dorian changed the subject. What about that dead champion, the Eye-Eater? Any idea yet who did it or why? Cole's eyes darkened. I've studied it again and again over the past few days. The body was totally destroyed. The color leached from Cole's cheeks. Innards scooped out and gone. Even the brain was missing. I've sent a message to your father about it, but I'll continue investigating in the meantime. I bet it was just a drunken brawl, Dorian said. Dorian!
Dorian! The man got his brain scooped out. That's not something that you do during a drunken brawl. Dorian!
Dorian just lives in his own little world.
He just lives in himbo land, where he's all like, what happens during drunken brawls?
Cole's over here like...
Brain's gone.
Cole's over here like he was completely torn apart, nearly unidentifiable. We only know it was him because he's the only champion who's not here anymore.
And Dorian's just all like...
Just smears. Smears of him on the walls.
Dorian's all like, so what you're telling me is that someone got really drunk and beat the hell out of him till he was dead. And Cole's like, no!
Cole just leads him gently by the hand. He's like, I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Dorian.
Dorian.
The walls in the room are painted red now. They were not before.
Wow! The painting staff sure works fast in this castle.
I'm gonna continue holding your hand while I say this. It's not paint.
Oh, wow. Wallpaper, then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm very glad that you'll be leading our country someday. I lost my page. There we go. Okay, found it. I bet it was just a drunken brawl, Dorian said, though he had been in plenty of brawls himself and had never known anyone to go about removing someone's innards. So very obviously not a drunken brawl, Dorian.
He's all like, I don't know, I've been in a few fights, though. It's a little strange for people to remove the innards.
To be fair, someone did scoop Dorian's brain out and replaced it with a goldfish. A trickle of fear formed in the back of Dorian's mind. My father will probably be glad to have the eye eater.
What if someone scoops out my brain next time I'm drinking?
Dorian, I'm gonna hold your hand as I say this. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay.
Here's some jingly keys.
Yay, keys!
My father will probably be glad to have the eye eater dead and gone. I hope so. Dorian grinned and put an arm around the captain's shoulders. Boyfriends. With you looking into it, I'm sure it'll be solved tomorrow, he said, leading his friend into the dining hall.
Boyfriend.
And history will call them best friends,
roommates.
I'm going to just start, anytime it says friend, captain, or anything like that, I'm just going to replace it with boyfriend from now on. And tell me if it changes the reading of the scene at all.
I mean, yeah.
It won't, but, you know. Okay, well, we made it through that. And if you want to see me endure even more pain, now would be a great time to get on the Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, those are exclusives. Those will not be coming to YouTube. Or
give us money,
not publicly.
give us money.
So, if you want to see it, $2 a month. That's all you gotta... To scoop a handful of dirt out of my grave to bury me with, $2 a month. It's a pretty great deal. That's like a third of a Starbucks drink at this point. Pretty awesome. And I will let you think on that, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you to my patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or in the description below, please consider joining my Patreon. Your support means so much to me and allows me to continue making content. If you want to support my content in different ways, consider buying my books, donating on Ko-fi, subscribing to the channel, or even just giving this video a like and comment. Any and everything is appreciated so much. Keep growing till next time, Rose Garden!